doctor. I'm disabled. I have been told my entire life, if you work hard, you will get rewarded. My sister also has a degree. Both of us are working hard, but we are not likely to have the same wealth my parents have had. I'm not likely to own a house by the time I'm 30. I would be irresponsible if I brought a child into this world because I don't have enough money to go from paycheck to paycheck, because as a doctor, the government, irrespectively today, didn't even meet our pay needs that they agreed on when we ended the strikes. And then to face that, I am looking at, again, unemployment next August. I want to be a GP, but there's only 4,000 spots for us in the UK to train, and there were 15,000 applicants. So how are you going to address rising bills? But even though we have respectable jobs, we might be facing unemployment ourselves in the NHS.
And can I just ask you, who do you hold responsible for that?
Pardon?
Who do you hold responsible for that?
So I hold, so in terms of recruitment, do you mean?
Well, no, I'm just thinking the situation you're in. You're saying, I've got a decent job, a really decent job, you can't afford a house, all that.
The decent jobs is within the NHS is that Wes treating, there's been stagnant. There's basically been no increasing higher training positions in the past 10 years, and we're also competing with doctors all over the globe.
Okay.
In terms of bills, etc., that would need to be dealt with within Wales, England, Scotland and Northern Ireland, etc. Okay. But the whole, if you work hard, you will be rewarded, has gone out of the window, in my opinion.
That's not how it feels to you.
It's not how it feels to me.
Could I please answer some of this? I'm very sorry to hear you haven't got the training places, and I think it's a real shame that Labour haven't done that. But I would like to say that it was the Tories who did reduce some of those training places, but Labour did promise us change, and we're 8 months in and we're still waiting. And then I can see, because you're desperate to jump in, but I'm going to carry on at this point. To answer about your unemployment and why you feel that you work really hard and you're not getting any benefit, we are stuck in a high-tax, low-growth economy. Now, Labour can say they inherited lots of problems, and they did inherit some of those problems, but my concern is we are 8 months in, and I still have not heard a convincing argument from Labour or a convincing plan how to get us out of this trap. And what I would like to come back to, and I agree, I think your housing, your building houses is a good thing, and the OBR have just said that is going to drive some growth. But unfortunately, in that last budget, in Rachel Reeves' first budget, this government took really big anti-growth measures within that budget, and those included putting huge tax rises on business, which have ended up being a jobs tax. We are seeing companies pulling back on jobs. We also saw that when they first came in, they really talked down our economy. Now, you said our economy was in a massive mess when Labour came in. Actually, there was growth, and then it plummeted again. The economy was recovering, I agree, from a very low base, but we have come out of pandemic and the Ukraine war. And to follow on top of this, I agree that workers need to be protected, but Labour are coming in with an absolute hammer against those. They're talking about very extreme measures that happen with very large companies. There are lots of small to medium-sized businesses where Rayner's huge employment rights package is going to absolutely hammer them. Now, my husband works in hospitality. He employs 65 people. Many of those are young people. And from this week, he is having to deal with a huge rise in NI costs. He's got to deal with a massively over-inflation minimum rise. He's got to pay 18-year-olds now the same as 21-year-olds. Now, we can all agree it's great that we're putting this extra money into 18-year-olds, but there are bosses at the end of the line who are having to pay for that. Labour's and the unions just completely think every single boss is a bad person. Well, they're not.
I think that's very unfair.
They are building companies that employ all of you. You might be out there building
we need to have
Chris,
a conversation about wealth. That's what
let me bring in Reen, who's trying to get to.
He's been very polite and wasteful.
Well, there we go.
Back to